One, two, three. Yay! All right, so we're starting the official second episode of How to Be Friends with Dave and Shawn. I enjoyed, if you're listening to this on the audio, I just enjoyed an incredulous look on my friend Shawn's face because he, of course, continues to think of our secret hidden pilot episode as the first episode, as do I, in a sense. Nevertheless, that is going to remain in the vault until maybe we have an audience. Okay, first off, say hi, Shawn.
Hi.
There were some. Okay, so I have to thank the 57 of you that actually watched the first episode.
that is a real YouTube 3 a.m. deep dive. What are these two idiots talking about?
The five of you that subscribed. This is a big learning process with this because if I could actually get in and see who those people are, I would thank each of you individually. I know at least I know that there is my dad and my brother included in those, so thank you. 40% of the subscribers are immediate family.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I want to start out with a funny story that I didn't prepare you for. So I'm prepared with my water, this time in my Daredevil mug. I have a specific reason for showing off this Daredevil mug. This just arrived on my doorstep. I had a bunch of family and friends being like, hey, I'm sending you stuff. Because it came in an Amazon package, I have no idea who sent it. So if that's someone who watches this podcast, thanks for the Daredevil mug. It's supposed to be heat reacting, but I haven't gotten it to be able to do that yet. So the story related to that. Last week, doing this thing, I got super thirsty. I had 12 ounces of water ready. It was not enough. This little cubby that I'm working in is my dinner table / office / coloring area for the kids / where I grow my plants. And I kid you not, Shawn, I'm glad I pulled it off. During the course of our podcast, I drank everything in my mug, and then I snuck around, and I took this can is actually my plant water, and I stole that, and I was still thirsty, and I snuck around, and I dumped my spray bottle into my mug as well. I got thirsty, so this time I'm prepared with a lot more water.
Okay, good. I cracked open a fizzy water. I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, you're doing better than I did the last time.
Do you want to introduce yourself as Dave?
Yeah, I guess I didn't do that.
Hi. You skipped the part where we introduced ourselves.
I have no regrets on this matter. I am, of course, Dave, the man with the bald. You are, of course, Shawn, the man with the wrench.
I'm Shawn, and there's a 7-foot Douglas fir pine tree in my living room. Once again. I don't know if you know about this where you're from, Dave. Every year, we celebrate the birth of some dude from history. I can't remember his name. Anyways, what we do is we go to the outside and we kill part of it and we bring it into the house and then we decorate it. And then we let it slowly wither and die more, and then we throw it away.
You can't throw it away until it becomes a fire hazard, though. That's the rule.
It's by default automatically a fire hazard. That is the whole purpose of it. Halloween, carve things, put them outside. This holiday? What was the guy's name? It was.
He was a doctor.
Chris something. It's called Christmas, so it's Chris something. We bring in like poinsettias and trees. It's completely nonsensical. A cone is not a good shape for any living area. It doesn't fit anywhere.
Okay, let's hit this real quick. For anyone out there who's a triggered Christian, Christmas is to celebrate the birth of Christ. Yes.
We do it with a 7-foot tall pine cone butt plug. Oh, family friendly. Sorry, forgot for a second. Okay, I'll be better off from now on.
We'll promise to fix that in post, and we never will. But Jesus was a cool dude, and I want to say this right now. There's a whole heck of a lot of people out there who like to do this, like, I don't know what you want to call it, like hipster kind of thing, where they're like, oh, did you know that there's a bunch of like druidic symbols and pagan rituals involved in Christmas? And like it was all like the Christians trying to squash this. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. But I know a little bit about Jesus, and I'm pretty sure he wants everyone to celebrate his birthday. So keep those pagan things in there. Keep the Hanukkah going at the same time. Jesus is not the type of guy to be like, cut it out, Hanukkah, leave it. It's my birthday. That's
Well,
not.
yeah. If I invite somebody to Christmas dinner and they bring empanadas, I'm not going to kick them out. Like that's more fun for everybody.
Thank
Celebrate it the way I want to celebrate it. I just wish celebrating it didn't involve giant tree in my living room that I constantly trip over.
Now
there's no good place for a tree. It's not a good shape.
No, my
There's
apartment,
absolutely nobody in this world that was like, hey, when we're designing this house, Bob, I want a side-by-side fridge, nice sized dishwasher, and a tree nook.
Yes, no tree nook. I could actually use the space that my stand-up air conditioner is in still from the summer as a tree nook, but that would require putting it away.
Right.
Visitations from ghosts.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh.
So spooky.
Okay, before I get too far here, I have to mention our first sponsor. Those other people on the road. That's right. Winter is coming, and with it, poor driving. And everyone under God's yellow sun says, well, I can drive just fine in the ice and snow. It's all of the other idiots on the road that I'm worried about. We are all the other idiots. You need to accept that. Everyone says this. I'm fine. It's those other idiots I'm worried about. I've been driving among other idiots my whole life. Adjust for them too.
Yeah, we got our first rain in like 302 days, like 2 days ago. And an interesting thing happens in Vegas when it rains. Either people don't slow down at all, or people slow down to like 28 miles an hour because they have no idea what to do. It's like putting scotch tape on the feet of a cat. They have no idea how to respond.
Just shake it off.
Like, do I slow down? I don't understand. Yeah, it's oh my god. Yeah, winter driving is. It's not a hard concept. Just slow down.
Okay, so I'm going to give you an update on my life real quick because we should be doing this.
Sure.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know my backstory in many different things, because this is the second episode, if you're brand new to this, hi, I'm bald. I was this close to having my winning lawsuit. You hear about these people who get that lawsuit that they like sue some business into the dirt. I was this close because I was accepted in a nursing school. They dragged their feet on their compliance. They found something that they didn't like in compliance, and they pulled me out of the nursing school after 10 days in it. I was like, this like pissed me off because I did 2 years of prerequisites before that. And before I started that, I cleared everything with them, and they were like, cool, good to go. I got an attorney. She was like, we're going to take these guys apart. This is clearly a breach of contract, blah, blah, blah. And the college went bankrupt. So that put me back into applying for nursing schools all over again, which is the worst. You're paying money and competing for the opportunity to pay someone else more money to teach you things. Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like our education system might be a little bit broken.
So they do this thing when you're in the application process where they send you these emails that are not clear about your acceptance levels. Like, I got an email today that almost made me squeal with delight because it's like, you've been accepted into Concordia St. Paul, pre-nursing, and I'm like, oh, I see what that. You just want me to take your classes, but I'm not in the nursing program yet, even though all of my prerequisites are done. So I'm a little bit salty about those emails and the whole process.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Oh. First of all, the pain of actually trying to get into a college class. Do, do you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. The pain of actually enrolling in college and getting into a class and doing all that is such a non-streamlined process. In addition to that, they make it extremely hard to say, I want to do this thing. They don't go, okay, then you need this necessarily. They're like, well, for your bachelor's of blank to get to this, you could do this, but you have to take this class with this course and a certain amount of credits. And it really is, it is more confusing than it needs to be.
Yes.
And it ends up, yeah, I'll throw it in the fire. Any for-profit college, I'm pretty sure, is doing their best to make it confusing for you. Because honestly, I took so many courses that I met with my counselor and took the courses I needed to take, and then I'd meet with another counselor, and they're like, "Well, you didn't need that one." It's an absolutely broken process.
And this is not an unpopular opinion, but it's true the closer you look at it. There's no such thing as a not-for-profit college. I don't
No, they
care.
all make a profit.
Right. Your community college, I don't want to crap on them too hard because honestly, it's a good way to get your dumb classes out of the way. I don't want to say dumb classes. Your pedantic classes out of the way at a reduced cost. But I've seen them messing with people as well. They are all out there to make a living on this. So anyone out there, you and I both have undergraduate degrees, hoping someday to get my graduate degree. Yes, you do too. Yeah, you're
Yeah, I have
good.
a BS, I think. Yeah.
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 So
I don't know.
you and I have,
Nobody cares that I have it.
yeah.
I have a
Our
Bachelor's of Science degree. Congratulations. Can you scan this can of soup? Welcome to Kroger.
thank you. Yes, our collective degrees are worth nothing. But that said, if you're going into college, it is a good experience for how to navigate the BS of the real world. For the love of all things holy, do not drink the Kool-Aid. Whatever they teach you, take every damn thing with a grain of salt. Yes?
I mean, honestly, I wish I would have gone to trade school
Yeah.
because I would have preferred to go to trade school. And honestly, trade schools aren't like the for-profit thing, and they're not pushed as hard, but there's a lot of good money in a trade school.
Mm-hmm.
You take a 2-year trade school and you're going to be set for life.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't push it. They
No.
don't push it, and it's not. What high school counselor ever goes like, "Oh, you should look into a trade school"? No,
Right.
no. So I mean, yeah, it's a broken system, and they've been screwing with you for a long time.
Yes.
It's really annoying.
But we're going to get there, and it's going to be awesome. And the point of bringing up these various things happening in our lives is any of you who out there struggling with college, struggling with jobs, struggling with whatever, here's a couple of knuckleheads here struggling as well. Please email us, comment about it. We will overcome together. Our collective strength is a heck of a lot better than dumb college advisors.
Or college advisors who are just checked out.
Yeah, not that I blame them.
Yeah, I'm sure there's good ones out there trying to make a difference, but I haven't met them.
I've met a couple. I don't think they stayed employed long.
No.
Shawn.
Yeah.
Beards.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. This has come up. Okay. This is going to be a really triggery episode because I'm going to touch on a couple things here.
Hit
Of
it.
my own personal opinion. If people are going to get really offended.
But just to interject, This is a how-to about being friends, okay?
Right.
Everything that offends you in our friendship, we've said things that could have offended one another, and we choose not to be offended. Choose not use this as your safe space. I'm triggered by just saying that, but use this as your safe space to choose not to be offended by things.
Being offended by something is the equivalent of having the emotional response of a 7-year-old. If
Correct.
you can't control your response, like, oh my God, that's like, I will honestly, something offends me. I'm like, oh, I find that offensive. And we move on.
Yeah, what's for
Like,
lunch?
okay.
Yes.
Beards are for fat people and wannabe spec ops soldiers, and that's how I feel about it. Listen, if people go through the fanny packs, parachute pants, things like that.
Yes.
Right now, beards seem to be hot. A lot of women have told me, "Oh, I think beards are so attractive." There's three groups of people I've met with beards, and there are outliers. Don't give me. Let me say four:
Mm-hmm.
aging bikers, fat guys trying to square off their face so you can't see how round it is.
Uh-huh. Well,
Okay, wannabe special operations soldiers who like to LARP for their Second Amendment freedoms on the weekend.
the airsoft
And
guys, yes.
yeah, airsoft or live rounds, but have never had any actual proper training. And then four guys who have beards, because that's the new hot thing to have.
Correct. I would be in the latter.
It's the hot thing to have.
Yeah. It's I'm
This
dating.
isn't a beard though. This is stubble. I'm talking like I can't see the fat of your face because it's so long, or I served in Afghanistan. So yeah, it is. It's an outdated. It served a purpose at some point. If
Mhm.
not, it wouldn't be on our face. We don't need it anymore,
Right.
right? The natural predators spent millions of years developing claws, and then we figured out projectiles. We don't
Yeah.
need this anymore. We've gotten beyond the point that a lot of our evolutionary garbage needs to be there. This is gross. It collects food. It's
Yeah.
itchy.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. But
But
mainly the people I see in my daily interactions are dudes with beards who obviously have a beard because they're trying to hide that they're fat. And you're
yes.
probably thinking, okay, understandable, but there's nothing wrong with being fat. Yeah, there is. You, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
This is where
Yeah.
I'm going to trigger people because I'm going to bring this up first. Okay. Let's see where to go. Where to go? British Vogue, body positivity, why the work is far from finished. Yahoo Sports, Lizzo's smoothie detox sparked fierce backlash in the body positive community. Okay, we're going to talk about body positivity real quick.
Hit me
First of
hard.
all, I'm overweight. I've been overweight and I've been in shape in my life. Right now, I'm currently overweight. So if you're overweight right now, don't feel personally attacked. Just don't. I'm not attacking you. The body
Correct.
positive community wants you to feel comfortable with whoever you are at whatever weight you are. And I am here to tell you right now that that is completely wrong. If you are obese or morbidly obese, that is wrong. Not because you shouldn't feel good about yourself, and this is where it's getting skewed way out. People are
Mhm.
confusing this body positivity crap with being happy, being everything you are. I'm not saying don't be a happy person. What I'm saying is when you increase your risk of arterial sclerosis and
Mhm.
you're blowing out your joints because you're carrying an extra 45 pounds, that's not good for you.
Correct.
So you can feel happy as a person. I agree with you, but the body positivity movement that is trying to bring this positive image on being unhealthy is garbage.
Right.
And I totally now I understand where it's coming from because yeah, there was a long time where it was hey, be skinny to be pretty. When I say this, I don't care about your physical attribute. I don't care what you look like. That's a completely different thing. When I look at you as an individual, it's not an attractiveness thing. It's if you are morbidly obese or obese, it's bad for you and you need to fix it.
Correct. You're
So,
dividing physical appearance and unhealthy situations.
right, your doctor doesn't tell you you need to lose weight because you're not dateable. That's not why your doctor tells you to lose weight. Your doctor's not like, wow, she'd be smoking hot if she lost another 40 pounds. It's not what this has to do with. And I totally agree that over the years, people have been forced into certain types of eating disorders because of a societal pressure to look a certain way, and that's crap. And people shouldn't have to deal with that. But at the same time, the same thing creating a social normative in the opposite direction is garbage. You should not. You should wake up happy and be happy with who you are, but at the same time know that if you are obese, you're not doing yourself well in the long run. That's how I look at it. I know I'm currently overweight. I'm still a happy person, but I'm trying to take the steps to mitigate that, because in the long run, it's either going to lead to an early death or a bunch of health problems I don't want to deal with.
Yes. Because, you know, on the flip side, the thick is in as well. We thankfully, as a society, we have moved past the world where every woman has to be a rail to be considered societally attractive.
Right, or every dude has to have ripped abs. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. And I don't, this is where we get on the, well, she's heavy set. I really don't, heavy set or thick or curvy. Those are all just made up words. Here's the words that matter. On the BMI scale, are you obese or morbidly obese? You can be thick or curvy and not be obese.
Correct.
Or be right there. Nobody's saying that. You can also be extremely underweight, which is unhealthy too. So yeah, it's really annoying to me to see stuff like that. Like, so you have this Lizzo who was heavy, let's be honest, obese, morbidly so. And she goes on a detox, which is another.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. Listen, most detoxes aren't going to hurt you. They're not going to do much for you in the long run from a scientific aspect.
Right.
You know, but she went on a detox, and then she caught a bunch of flack for people who were giving her crap about being potty positive and now going on something that could be associated with a diet. That's ridiculous.
And that's contradictory. I think they did the same thing to Adele, who dropped a bunch of weight, and a bunch of other actresses who dropped a bunch of weight. For heaven's sakes, on the one hand, you cannot say no fat shaming, everyone is beautiful the way that they are. But on the other hand, say, wait, you're losing weight, that's wrong. Hey, you're shaming that person for losing weight. How about you just don't shame either way?
Right. How about you just look at somebody and go, I'd be happy for you if you were healthier.
Fair
right?
enough.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's very irritating to me to see stuff like that, because it's just another example this year with the whole COVID thing where we have strayed further and further from science, and it boggles my mind.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, there's no reason not to have outdoor dining. I can understand stopping the indoor dining, but there's not only, so wiser than myself pointed out that it was the government who came up with outdoor dining as an idea to deal with COVID, and now they're like, our own idea is stupid.
Dr. Fauci.
Oh, okay, thank you. Oh, wonderful. There's no reason to keep the kids out of school. But these are things that people have said all over the place. Cahill, excuse me, Shawn, treating COVID with gun rules. Tell me about that.
Oh yeah, that one's been on the list for a while. I didn't know if that's something you wanted to talk about. Okay, would you say that your podcast is? I'm going to say I'm not pro-gun. I'm going to put it that way because I don't think everyone should have guns. Okay, that's just the truth. Yeah.
So wait a second.
It's my
Let me
second
clarify.
Right? I've met some of you. You shouldn't have a fork. You should be given a spork. Okay.
Okay. So to clarify, that means that our good friend Shawn is pro Second Amendment, not pro everyone and their mom having a gun.
Yeah, I'm also pro car, but not all of you should be driving them.
Thank you.
Yeah. So when I was We still have the VHS of it. I watched it a few years back. My father took me out shooting when I was like 6 years old, 5 or 6, just waddling around with a pump action shotgun. I, he taught me from a very young age that there's certain rules we follow with a firearm. And if there are
Yes.
rules I follow to this day,
Mm-hmm.
and it is you always treat a firearm as if it's loaded.
Okay.
You don't point it at people because you're sure it's unloaded.
Right.
You don't flail it around and flag your buddies.
Correct.
You always treat a firearm as if it's loaded. And if you have an infectious disease spreading like wildfire, treat your face like it's possibly a loaded gun and don't point it at anybody. It's not that hard.
Pretty fair.
You
Pretty
just
fair.
unless it is something that is actually inconveniencing you, I don't see what the big deal is. A mask has never inconvenienced me. If you say you put on a mask and you immediately have difficulty breathing, that's because you put on a mask after you took off your oxygen tank. And you should have an oxygen mask on anyways. If you're saying that when you put on a mask you immediately have difficulty breathing, it's probably because you're morbidly obese. It's not the
Non-rebreather
mask.
mask for everyone. There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah. So it's not hard and it's not difficult and it's not a big deal. You don't get carbon dioxide poisoning from wearing a mask.
Yes.
People are just, it's a bunch of false crap running around. Mine's based in science, and this is a point of view podcast, but that also comes from 2.5 years of working in a surgery center where I regularly had to wear a mask, and a bachelor's of science that focused on healthcare and military training as a combat medic. I think I have some of the medical stuff down. No offense, guy who does people's feet on a regular basis and wears scrubs and is therefore, hey, podiatrist guy who comes into my store, I'm not going to follow your instructions on wearing a facial mask. I don't want to be a jerk. It's not your expertise. Okay. And your Facebook rantings and stuff that you're getting your information from, suck it.
We got Shawn wound up today.
I am so over people thinking they know what they're talking about.
See, okay, and for those people who might be triggered by this, because I'm loving how many, there's gonna be people on one side who are gonna be like, "Rah, masks all bull plop." Shawn is perpetuating the oppression, and then there's gonna be on the other side people who are gonna be like, "Yeah, preach it. We gotta." Okay, I say this all the time. Two things can be true at once. Number one, it's super easy to wear a mask. Number two, it's easy to keep 6 feet away from everyone. And number three, everything can be open again.
Okay, yeah. And it's also super easy to wear a shirt. But in the summer, I got to tell people to put on a shirt because you're in a. If we'd been wearing masks for the last 20 years, people wouldn't be whining about it. But it's because all of a sudden they were told they have to do it. People are whining about it. Everybody's walking around like Donald Duck without any pants. Suddenly the government was like, hey, wear pants. There'd be people who are like, pants are a violation of my rights. Just put on pants.
Okay. I'm going to clarify something real quick. Because, okay, I lean conservative on a lot of things.
I don't want anything to be open either, so that's why I disagree with your statement. Keep everything closed.
It's totally fine. This, hopefully we hit all audiences between you and I. Okay. So,
I just don't want to have to go anywhere with my wife, and this is making it so much easier. I don't have to go to the store. I have a reason.
That is nice. Okay, I want to hit something real quick because as a more conservative libertarian person, I'm very much taxation is theft kind of thing, right? And I see these memes running around showing that we started a damn revolution over a 2% T-tax. Slow your roll, airsoft guy. And here's why I'm saying that.
Yeah, it wasn't like a Wednesday when everybody was like, nope, we're done.
Correct.
That was a rising tide that took years.
And I want to be really clear, okay? Yes, we're getting taxed a lot, and that bothers the hell out of me. You know what we're getting with that taxation? Representation. You know what the colonists didn't have with their taxation? Representation. That might be worth pulling the trigger over.
They did, except the guy they sent back for representation took 6 months for him to get there, and by then the stuff had been decided. It's easy to
So,
have representation at a distance when you have Zoom nowadays.
yes,
But when
yeah,
you got Lyme disease just by traveling to vote on something, it was a little more difficult.
correct.
Yeah, we do get representation. We're halfway there. Is it the representation I want? No.
No, but my point is,
More one-eyed Navy SEALs. That's what we need.
yeah, yeah, thank you. Yes, Dan Crenshaw. I would vote for him yesterday. Oh, that guy. He's a and okay. I'm just gonna because we talk about how to be friends and perspectives on the show. His perspective is really, really good,
Yeah.
in that he
I mean,
talks.
it doesn't have a lot of depth, but it is good.
I see, because he's got one eye. For those of you who missed the
Hi.
depth perception show. No, he is great for making the point that don't assume malice in people's positions. Assume that they're trying their best to do what they think is right. And in most cases, if someone's spouting some lunacy that can't really work, start off with the simple question, how?
Yeah, everybody has an answer, but nobody ever has an explanation. That's one of the things that was amazing about Trump's presidency. That dude won simply with the idea of a wall. He didn't have a plan.
There's a lot of rumors to say
He
that
was just like, wall.
there's a lot of rumors to say that he didn't he did not even intend on winning or expect to win, and yet did anyway. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and throw things up, just for the hell of it, so that we either alienate as much audience as possible or encompass as much audience as possible. I'm happy to go out there and say that I voted for Trump twice. I don't think you did.
No.
Right. So I'm here to make the
No.
So those of you that hate Trump, welcome to Camp Shawn.
Yeah,
Those of you who love Trump, welcome to Camp Dave. And guess what? We can all be friends.
Yeah, because, yeah.
It's not that hard. It's not. It's too easy.
Yeah, it's not. I can't believe you voted for him. Yes, my one vote is the one that swung it. Ooh, take that. Like, yeah, I don't care who you vote for. You're picking the lesser of two evils.
We have not. And Trump was not my first pick in 2016. We have not had a genuinely great candidate in some time. Maybe. I don't want to dig into who the heck it was. I actually want to get back to beards for a second.
Okay. I was just daydreaming about my poster of Ronald Reagan with his shirt torn open and his 12-pack all greased up. Anyways, get back to beards.
Okay, back to beards for a moment. I sent you a link. There was a fascinating article by her.womenworking.com.
Yeah, I read through it. I wasn't able to find any peer-reviewed. That seemed like one lady getting a little wine drunk one night going, okay, everybody keeps asking me I'm dating Ted and he's 25 years old, or fine. Here's 7 reasons.
Most of it, okay, so yes. This in those reasons, some of it was like communication, okay? Age is irrelevant to whether or not you can communicate with your partner, okay? If you can't communicate with people and you try a wide spectrum of ages, look into something else. Another part is yeah. There's the wine drunk. Yeah. Yeah. Talking about the maturation. Okay, so I'm not going to argue the point that men mature slower. That's a fact. But again, if you think your man needs to cook for an extra 20 years because he's just not mature enough yet, again, maybe it's not the dude that's the problem. There are some issues with this article. Okay,
There were quite a few issues with this article.
but she did bring up a good point. And barreling down further, out like her article led me to research the point further. Of course, human females are just about the only mammals on the planet who actually get to choose their mates. Totally unique in the mammalian world. Everywhere else, it's, oh, who won the fight? I guess I'm making babies with that then. So the genetic appeal is a big deal. It's a huge deal.
Of course it is, yeah.
And so there's that principle of the longhorn in the idea that a buck who has survived many winters, whether consciously or unconsciously, has an automatic appeal based on the fact that there has to be some strength there has to be some intelligence there has to be some good genetic material there to survive hard winters, and therefore instinctively is more attractive. Make sense?
Yes. One running gag of that article that I also found was that all these older men tended to be really, really rich.
Really rich.
I have to say, without a proper scientific study,
yes,
looking at all the variables, yeah. Well, it's just that older men are, more experienced and they've survived longer, and it's George Clooney.
It's George. Yes, thank you. Because of course that makes the point that there has to be other factors in there. There has to be a measure of success. There has to be. I've made the joke many times. If I had $1 for every woman who didn't find me attractive, they would.
Yeah. yeah. It's the truth. It's not. Oh.
And then there also has to be a presentation of that genetic strength. If you're 60 years old and you're unhealthy as heck, you're not attractive. If you're 60 years old and you look like George Clooney, we'll bring it back to him. Okay, yeah, he looks fit. He's obviously successful. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Oh yeah, trust me. Okay, so at 37, I'm way overweight, working on it, but I constantly have been fighting this.
You're beautiful just the way you are.
My coworker is like 63 and he gets up every morning and runs 2 miles. Guy's fit as a fiddle. And yeah, he's an attractive dude. Now, are you telling me that a 40-year-old woman is going to go, if they come in, they're eyeballing him or me? They're eyeballing him.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously a physical strength there that lends itself to the whole evolution of I need a mate who's going to be able to protect me and my babies. And it's not the chubby guy.
Probably not.
Yeah, it's probably not. So, yeah, no, that absolutely stands to reason. But when it comes down to it, it's all just our baser instincts.
And here's where it circles back around to the beards there. We have not gotten so far as to not also enjoy examples of those genetic markers. So a person who can grow a beard is generally accepted to have more testosterone in their bloodstream. Whether or not it's true, that's just a physical appearance that can tend to that.
I argue to say that a man who could shave a beard can afford razors and is therefore more desirable because those things are expensive.
I would love Dollar Shave Club as a sponsor too. I love those guys.
Dollar Shave Club, if you're listening to this,
pay us.
Give me money. You have butt wipes, apparently. I don't know how that works. We
reached almost 60 people in 1 week. That's.
I'm thinking we're gonna have to climb at the bottom like my brother and me did, and just start with extremerestraints.com.
Spectacular.
Fantastic website.
I'm not gonna look that up. That's. I don't know, man. That sounds like some other things that
it's actually like a really nice website. Like the photography is professional. It's not sketched like you would think.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, now that
Oh.
we've given our free Dollar Shave Club extreme restraints,
No, I'm just trying to get some spawns. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Uh,
David, tell me the buzz about bees.
oh, thank you. Okay. So, for those of you,
If you have never heard of a bee,
taking measures to try to save the bee population, I want you to know that something is working. We are showing very slight growths in bee population finally. This comes from the USDA, who's tracking colony numbers. We are showing deaths of colonies starting to slow, so the growth is outpacing the loss. Okay, so that's really good news because we all love bees, we all love honeys. Anyways, that being said, okay, I've heard advice. Don't mow your lawn. Let the wildflowers grow for the bees, okay? Trying to save the bees is not an excuse to have a gross lawn. You can
no.
plant flowers.
Just put stuff in your yard that bees like.
Yes.
That's not mow your lawn. If anything, move the broke down 77 Chevy C10 with no wheels on it that's been sitting out there and let more grass grow.
If that thing,
Oregonians?
if
Yeah,
that
I'm
thing,
talking to you.
okay, but if that thing starts, I'll buy it for $500. Gambler 500. That's right.
Oregon's great. You know what stopped the Oregon wildfires? All the natural fire breaks caused by people's broke down pickup trucks.
Yeah. No kidding. Okay. All right. Now, I spoke to my coworkers about this podcast. Some of them like, oh, I keep meaning to listen to. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. That's
You won't.
But I promised one of my coworkers we would talk about the Lego thing, and that you're teaching me that apparently Lego won't make modern war machines.
Yeah, Lego actually has a long-standing policy. They won't do that. They won't produce anything in any way associated with like military equipment.
So whether it be an old Ronson Lighter Sherman or a brand new M1 Bravo Abrams tank, you can't get them under the Lego umbrella.
No, basically the closest you get to warfare is like something in the Star Wars universe that they will not make tanks. In fact, they released a few years back a U.S. Coast Guard search and rescue V-22 Osprey,
I think I remember.
which was based off of it. No, I think it was U.S. Force. Was it Fire Service or Coast Guard? I can't remember which one. You can look it up. And they immediately hit backlash, and they had to pull it from the shelves.
Really? So it was people actually getting upset. So
there are activist groups in Germany that are like, knock this crap off.
Oh. So the Germans don't like war machines, huh?
Hey, you know what? It's nice to see a group of people who are looking at their history and learning from it. You know, I got to give them a lot of credit for that. But yeah, so you can go to I got to click on it because I can't remember what it was. Was it Brick?
So, well, I mean, he makes laser sounds looking it up. This was reported under CNN style section, military sets.
Brickmania Toy Works. So what Brickmania essentially does is they buy used Legos, new kits off the shelf, things like this, and they design their own custom sets for people like you and me who might want to build a Lego tank or a Lego, fighter jet or something like that. They're extremely expensive, as they should be, because you're talking about sourcing something that's already expensive, designing it in-house and doing that. So they're doing this. They kind of have like we won't mess with you if you don't mess with us agreement with Lego.
Great.
And
there needs to be more of that.
I just thought it was really cool to see something like, and this is not, we're going to build everything super aggressive so you can do combat. They're trying to do like, there's one, they made an AC-130 Spooky 2 gunship.
Yeah.
AC-130 Spooky is basically you take an aircraft that was already quite capable, and then you turn it into just Satan. So the AC-130 gunship I believe this could be wrong. Somebody will correct me. I believe it's a 105 millimeter cannon, a
Mm-hmm.
40 millimeter grenade launcher,
Mm-hmm.
and one or two miniguns. So this thing just rains pain down. Something that Lego would never build. And they
I
built.
believe there's an array of those things that you mentioned. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it is literally a spooky thing. My father, when he was in the Marine Corps back in Vietnam, they called it their variation. I think they called it Puff the Magic Dragon.
Uh-huh.
And he said one of those coming in for a night run was one of the scariest things he'd ever seen. So, but it was cool to see them making something like that. What will one of these set you back, depending on the model? 3,000 or 4,000.
Oh.
They do make smaller kits if you just want like a little artillery piece that you want to build. They make smaller kits that are like 25, $30. But also keep in mind, a lot of these parts, either hard to find or they have to custom make them,
Yeah.
or they have to buy multiple kits off the shelf to get a hold of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like they're doing a good job doing it. And I'm glad to see that there's a company doing that, because a lot of us don't have that kind of. I don't know. I consider myself a relatively creative person, but the idea of taking 500,000 Legos and trying to figure out how to build a C-130 out of it is intimidating.
It's a special kind of work.
It's a special kind of hell I don't want to be in.
But those kids that I grew up with in the 80s that were able to construct the entire cities out of Legos, it's good that they find ways to make money.
Yeah, hey, if you're out there and you can afford a $4,000 Lego set, or the $800 1/18th scale Imperial Star Cruiser Remesnik,
Not to time anyone out.
that dude, he sent me a picture of this Imperial Star Cruiser he built. It was as long as a 62-inch television,
Lord
just
help
sitting
me.
in his living room. That is patience. I give that man credit. Holy moly. You know what?
Okay.
He doesn't have kids.
He doesn't have kids.
That's not a money statement. If you had kids, I think it'd be broken in 5 minutes.
Although he does have money too. More than I have. Okay. So, I was lucky enough to serve a mission in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Were you
And
actually?
yeah, for 9 months till my spleen tried to explode and then I got sent home.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm confusing mission with mission. Yes, of course.
Yeah, that is mission for Jesus compared to mission for Army. The two don't often intersect.
And depending on how you've seen missionaries treated, they could both be considered a combat mission.
Absolutely. Okay, so that being said, this is a segue. But I was also lucky enough to have, as one of the people I was working with, a New Zealander who was awesome. Dude was like, he had no chill. People would yell at us as missionaries and like hell point guns at us and all sorts of stuff. And he would just yell. He wasn't a big guy by any means. He was an average dude, but he would just yell back. And I'm like, dude, I would tell him, I got your back, but we're not going to win these fights. And he's like, what's the problem? We'll take a few hits, be okay. I'm like, all right. That being said, this was his first trip to the United States. What's in Colorado Springs? This weird mountain everyone can see with a bunch of like antennas and arrays on the top of it. And he's like, what the hell is that? I'm like, that is NORAD. It is like the surveillance capital of the world. But it has special significance this season.
Right. In this season, we celebrate Richard Dean Anderson running Stargate SG-1 out of Cheyenne Mountain. No. So,
close. Right?
Yeah, and this is where, hey, if there's kids in the car, I'm not about to force an uncomfortable discussion. We're going to treat this like the reality that it is, okay?
Yes.
If you're listening right now. North American Air Defense, if you've never heard of them, and I don't know how, basically observes the airspace in North America. They make sure things that aren't supposed to be there aren't there. And every year, NORAD actually helps track Santa's travels. They've been doing this since, I believe it was 1958, when they swapped over from Conrad to NORAD. And it originally started, in fact, on the website, go to noradsanta.org. That's where you're going to find all this stuff. They say that it was actually a mistaken phone call that came into NORAD. Let's see here. Retired Colonel Harry Shoup, which was NORAD's first Santa tracker. Apparently a child misdialed a phone number trying to call, like, talk to Santa, and they got ConAd. And basically, while he was on the phone with this kid, he just asked somebody to track Santa as a joke, and it went from there. And before you get all wound up in your britches, this is done by basically generous donations, and usually over 1,000 volunteers each year volunteer to take these phone calls.
Yep.
Microsoft, places like that, it basically donates server time, things like this. So this isn't coming out of the American's pocketbook. This is just something that is done.
Yes.
As something nice. It's pretty cool. You can go on their website. When Santa's flying, they're going to upload videos, and they track his actual travel around the world. It starts out in Canada and goes from there. What I love about this is
that is better than Elf on a Shelf. Oh, I said it.
Yeah.
I said it.
What I love about this is they do actually offer. Did you go to the website to look at this?
Not yet. I've tracked it throughout the years. It's a lot of fun.
Basically, they have a Jane's technical data for the sleigh, which is fantastic to me.
Ooh.
The home base is the North Pole. The length of the sleigh is 75 candy canes, cc, or 150 lollipops, LP, with a width of 40 cc and a height of 55 cc. Weight at takeoff is 75,000 gumdrops. Here's what I do love, though.
Yes, hit me with it.
The armament, which are antlers, are listed as purely defensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Santa is not an offensive weapon.
So if you've never heard of this, and I'm sure you haven't, because this is one of those things you don't hear about. It doesn't, they don't have ad money unless it pops up in somebody's feed. Go to noradsanta.org. There's games kids can play. You can call a phone number. They will actually track beginning at a certain time on December 23rd, I think. Kids can watch videos, stuff like that. It is really cool to see military force being used for good, and it's also nice to see the humanity behind these people that are often, just seen as, you remember, well, you know what it's like. You're just kind of viewed as a trained robot who doesn't have emotions. These are people that really care. These people volunteer their time and do that stuff. Let's see. Let's take a look here. 55. I just want to put who is Microsoft, AGI, Ginkgo. These are Avaya, HP, Verizon, Canadian Military Family, United States Olympic Committee.
Okay, there you go.
Navy Band, Merchant Marine Academy, Coast Guard Band, the Historic Riverwalk of Pueblo. There are so many companies that take part in this. Plantronics. There's so many companies that take part in this, and they're just doing a really, really cool thing.
Yes. So, we're going to wrap that up on the magic of Christmas. All y'all kids out there, hope you have a wonderful Christmas as we continue to provide the little facts from www.noradsanta.org. And don't worry, we watch these movies all the time that have the same plot. Christmas is ruined. Oh, wait. Don't worry, young boys and young girls out there. Santa is backed up by F-22 Raptors, and he will deliver those presents.
Yeah, yes, I would. Yeah, I mean, Santa's got a pretty good entourage going. He's pretty good. I also wanted to just throw one thing out there. It's probably going to be too late this year, but maybe next year if somebody's listening, go to usps.com/holiday news /Operation-Santa. It is the correct address to send letters to Santa. It is Santa Claus, 123 Elf Road, North Pole, 88888. That is how you get a letter through to Santa. That letter will be opened Santa has many volunteers that actually open these.
Mhm.
If you are interested in helping out, you can contact the U.S. Postal Service. You can basically help Santa help kids. And that way, if there's somebody sending a letter who perhaps might not get the opportunity to get what the rest of us have been blessed with, you can help them out.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
On that warm note, I guess we'll put out our contact information again. I'm still working on everything. I can be emailed at latterdayliger@gmail.com. Comment, like, subscribe. And if we have this many people watching it, tell your friends about this. Why not? This is as underground as it gets, so
Pretty
enjoy.
much. This is the
Yeah.
podcast equivalent of a zine. Of course, my Twitter is I Felt Guilty Once. How to Be Friends with Dave and Shawn is produced by David Sutherland and Shawn Cahill. 2020.
Protected under common law.
In common law? Yeah, like we've been living together for 5 years in the state of Missouri.
Okay. And with that, I have been Dave.
I have been Shawn.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.